Today I'm going to be filming my Casper preparation. Pretty much I just started prepping for Casper. Right now it's 9:58 a.m. and I take my Casper at 2 p.m. I looked at it briefly yesterday and just like what the test is about. I took a little bit of the practice test today, but today I'm going to take more of the practice tests and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'm finding that with this prep, there's like a kind of specific formula that's always followed. And it's pretty much this, it's called PPRDJ formula, which is you first state the problem, then you state the different perspectives of the group members that they have. And then you state your responsibility in the situation, which is to say like, oh, you know, like, I'm a group member in this group and it's my responsibility to mediate the healthy communication between the group members. And then you state your decision, and the decision, you know, it has to be like a decision that incorporates like the Casper or core competencies, which off the top of my head, I believe you have to have collaboration in your decision. Your decision must be based on compromise, you know, taking into account every person's perspective. Your decision must be made with non-judgment and no assumptions. Your decision needs to be irrespective of your self-biases. And of course, you know, you need to constantly maintain open collaboration with all the team members. So I think those are like kind of like, from what I've heard from online guides and also from talking to people who've taken it in the years past, it seems like if you have these like keywords that you have in there about like just, you know, collaboration, non-judgment, non-biases, that kind of stuff, it seems okay. And then of course you have, after your decision, you have to justify your decision. Like why is it that I made the decision? And I also know that in the decision portion of it, you have to say a lot of like, oh, if XYZ happens, then XYZ happens. Like for example, let's say, and I got this from off Reddit, let's say, you know, a surgeon comes in drunk, you know, and you have to like mediate the situation. You know, how would you confront the surgeon, right? So that would be like, for example, if indeed the surgeon was drunk, what we would do is we would have a private conversation with the surgeon that is full of non-judgment, no biases. And if indeed he was drunk, we would encourage him to report himself to the hospital's governing agency or the reporting office of the hospital. If indeed he was not drunk and, you know, he just was a little off that day, we would emphasize that this was based on misunderstanding to not, you know, have the situation escalate further. Okay, just woke up from my like 2-hour nap. Test is at 2 p.m. Let's do this. Okay, I just completed Casper. Definitely it was very draining of a test because, you know, the way the test is structured is that there's word-based prompts and video-based prompts. Once you get a word-based prompt, you get about a minute to think about the prompt, and then they give you these 3 questions. So you have to answer these 3 questions. And then for the video-based prompt, you know, you're allowed a pen and pencil, so you're allowed to jot down notes about, you know, what the prompt is saying, and then you get 3 questions again that you have to answer, and then each question is like a different kind of question. The first question, I mean, from what I've seen from the practice, is always like, you know, how would you handle the situation? And so pretty much how I did it was I just literally just said, you know, like I did the PPRDJ format, you know, that I explained previously. And I thought it worked pretty well, you know, but it was definitely very exhausting. It was like 6 questions, both word and video based. And then you get a break, which is 5 minutes, and you get another 4 questions, which, you know, it's the same. And it's just very taxing, very tiring. It's like you have to type very, very, very fast. I think definitely being a medical scribe helped me type pretty fast. But man, that was so tiring to do. And also for the breaks, you can get out of the camera, you know, go to a washroom and everything, do whatever you need to do, but you have to come back, and each time that you come back, you have to take a picture of yourself. And also another thing is that at the beginning of the test, you might have a little bit of trouble getting in. I had a little bit of trouble getting in. It took me about, like, I had to press resume test like 2 to 3 times or more than that. Like, it took me about 5 minutes to get into the actual exams. Don't worry, you know, if you press resume test and it doesn't let you in, you know, it will let you in eventually. And then after the written portion, there's a video portion, which I think for the 2023 test, it's not graded yet, but it's pretty much the same as the word-based prompts. You have 60 seconds to talk, which I guess is about the amount of time you have to take to write it out. So I pretty much use the same approach, the PPDRJ approach, to approach all these word-based prompts. There's the same text problems, there's the same video problems. Yeah, so overall, the test was pretty tiring. It took, I'd say about an hour 30 minutes, an hour 40 minutes to complete. And they have the survey at the very end. But 10 out of 10 would not recommend this Casper, but I guess it's just a requirement. I've heard people with like first or second quartiles get it, and people, you know, so like maybe this is not a test that is very important, but I did the best that I could. I don't know, man. I just realized I used the heck out of the word non-judgmental and no assumptions. Oh my gosh, I also forgot to record my experience with Snapshot and Duet. So Snapshot, pretty much what it was like, they give you about 3 questions. Each question is about 2 minutes long, and they give you about 30 seconds in order to read. So it's pretty much, they give you a prompt, which is like, it's like a common interview question, like, you know, tell me about your biggest challenge, tell me about your biggest weakness, that kind of stuff. And they give you 30 seconds to look it over, and then you record like a 2-minute just kind of like response to that question. And after those 2 minutes are done, they send that question off to the schools. For what I know, the only schools that I'm applying to that actually require Snapshot are like University of Colorado and University of Illinois, Chicago. It doesn't seem like a lot of other schools are requiring Snapshot. And honestly, it is a little bit annoying to do Snapshot. I do agree. It's like, because you have to get up like, because it's sent to schools, right? So you have to look kind of presentable. You got to put on a suit and stuff, which is what I did. But I mean, I just did it because, you know, it doesn't really take that long to do. It's just like 10 minutes. So I just pretty much did it right after Casper. And then there's Duet. Honestly, Duet was a little bit more annoying than Snapshot, because it's like 61 questions, and it's really about your like preference of what kind of med school you want to go to. And I think a lot more schools require Duet. But it's 61 questions just based on your preferences. It's not really a test or anything, but the interface is so slow. Like, you press one question choice and then it takes like forever to load the next question. And it's just like, it literally is like comparing just 2 things. Like, for example, it will say, oh, do you value more of the excellence of research in a school when you're considering medical school, or do you value more a commitment to primary care, or do you value more like having great faculty to bounce ideas off of, or do you value more of a more integrated, like close-knit class, that kind of stuff, like making you choose between like 2 options to see, like, I'm guessing schools are trying to see like what kind of medical school that you gravitate more towards. So yeah, that was Snapshot and Duet. So that was my Casper testing experience. If you like this video, please give me a sub, give me a like, and a subscribe. Thank you, and see you soon.